I'm really bored and I want to bake something, but I just don't know what I want to do. I'm not feeling very inspired. I got lemons, I got matcha, I got chocolate, I got nuts, but nothing really sounds good and easy. Because I don't want to do anything too hard. I got other shit to do today. Uh, you know what I do want though is some edamame. Sounds great. One of my favorite lunch slash snack items. I'm gonna go check my freezer. I'm pretty sure I have some left. All right, let's see about that edamame. Yep, there's some here, but I also forgot I have about a billion bananas in my freezer. However, this does give me a fantastic idea for a nice, easy recipe that I can show you how to bake right now.
You can use frozen or fresh bananas for this recipe. Obviously, I'll be using frozen. So, the first step is going to be to thaw out these frozen bananas while I head to the store. I prefer to freeze my bananas with the peels on, but you can also freeze them with the peels off. I will just put them in a bag first. I will also peel them. It is actually way easier, but these are still partially frozen, so it's kind of coming off in pieces, but don't worry, I get the peel completely off. I was just being impatient. I did not record this part, but I did wait about an hour, and the peels came off considerably easier and in one nice piece. If you're using frozen bananas, you'll want to dump out any liquid that is produced by them as they thaw out, otherwise your dough is just going to be way too wet. Yes, my sink is dirty, I am going to clean it later today. I personally always toast my nuts before I add them to things to help bring out that flavor before it goes in the oven. Trust me, they won't overcook, just toast them for a couple minutes on the stove. For this recipe, you'll want liquid coconut oil. I am currently in Chicago and it is 85 degrees outside and 82 degrees in my apartment. It sucks, but this also means my coconut oil is currently a liquid. Now we're going to add our wet ingredients. Of course, our coconut oil, our brown sugar, vanilla extract, and some non dairy milk. I am using soy milk in this case because it's what I typically have. Some people may question why brown sugar is considered a wet ingredient, and that is a very valid question. Most recipes don't get this quite right, but sugar is actually considered a wet ingredient based on the way it dissolves in water. Something like flour sort of dissolves in water, but it thickens the water considerably. Sugar doesn't do that at all. It just kind of dissolves, and the water is still the same watery texture. Water, if we were adding it to this recipe, would also be considered a wet ingredient because, well, it's a liquid. So basically, what I'm saying is water is indeed wet, and you can be mad at me all you want. Sugar, however, is also wet, which will probably make even more people mad at me. Now that we have all our wet ingredients, we're just going to mix until combined. It's okay if there's still chunks of banana, but just kind of try to smash it a bit with a spoon. For banana bread, I prefer a spoon over a mixer because you really don't want to overmix it. It'll become too dense if you do. I acknowledge this looks a little bit gross right now, but trust me, the banana bread is delicious. It'll be worth it. Totally worth it. Also, yes, there is garbage on my floor. My cat knocked things over. Thank you, Focaccia. This is looking about good right now, so we're gonna go switch gears and add our dry ingredients directly to wets, just same bowl. Right now, I am adding 1 3/4 cups of flour, which is a lot of flour, so there will be quite a bit of scooping here. Our other dry ingredients are pretty simple things: baking soda, notably not baking powder, about a teaspoon of cinnamon, and a little bit of salt. I always add salt to recipes even if they don't call for salt because salt happens to be a wonderful flavor enhancer. It's not always making things salty. In the right amounts, it just gives all your other flavors a boost. So, even if a recipe doesn't call for salt, I add salt. This one does call for salt, so, well, here goes the salt. You may notice there is a teaspoon of cinnamon, and then I immediately put in a teaspoon of baking powder. I don't thoroughly wash every single dish between ingredients, but I do give it a little rinse and a little dry off without any soap. Then I just go right into the baking powder. I've never had an issue with this. There's no cinnamon in my baking powder or vice versa. I make sure everything is reasonably clean without having to do a full set of dishes between adding ingredients. My salt shaker is also a bit finicky. I really need to get a new one. It's decorative but not very functional. Now that we have all our dry ingredients together, we're just going to gently mix to combine. Again, I'm not using a mixer because this is a recipe that is rather easy to overmix, and we really don't want to do that here. We just want them barely combined. Once everything is combined, we are going to add in our toasted nuts, and I'm also going to add in half a cup of non-dairy dark chocolate chunks. Most dark chocolate is just inherently vegan, but definitely make sure you check and make sure there is no milk on the back of the container. I made sure that these had no milk in them. They're just dark chocolate and a little bit of sugar. After we add these, we will of course just give it one last kind of rough mix just to make sure that there's about an even amount throughout the dough. Some recipes say that you will need to line a pan with parchment paper, however, that can cause some kind of wrinkles in the banana bread. What I do, and what works about 99% of the time, is take some of this spray. It contains flour, so it's not your typical nonstick spray. Shake it up and spray it real good. Now we just add our banana bread into the loaf pan and try to smooth it out real nice so it's about even on all sides. It's going to look like it's about half full. This is what you want because it is going to rise as it bakes in the oven. After all, it is a quick bread. Banana bread dough can get kind of sticky, so I will be scraping the sides quite a bit, and I'll pretty it up a little off camera. Ta-da! It's pretty and even, and now it is going to go in the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 50, that is 50 minutes. And with the magic of video editing, we are back. Make sure to do a quick little toothpick test just to make sure it's cooked all the way through.
All right. Moment of truth. I could grab it properly. It's just no parchment paper necessary. Just gotta spray it down real nice. This is so silly. And look at that gorgeous loaf of banana bread.
And there you have it, some delicious vegan banana bread. I hope you enjoyed this recipe, and I hope it inspires you to also make some banana bread with the bananas that are rotting on your counter. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.